Hi, this is Jenny with Curators. It has been a crazy week, actually, the last 2 weeks in the crypto and NFT marketplaces. And I just wanted to hop on here in the midst of all this and talk a little bit about the exciting news that came out of Nike and Artifact on Monday about dotswoosh by Nike. Um, so if you have a minute, please watch the rest of this video. Please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And I'm going to jump right into it. So dotswoosh by Nike, a platform for Nike's virtual creations. Artifact will continue to be at the edge and work with Nike to onboard the next millions to Web3. Clones will get access for dotswoosh ID, and Nike releases will be clone digital wearables. More collab to merge worlds together. So super exciting. Nike with this dotswoosh release, they are really going all in on the digital wearables and the forgeable digital wearables. So we'll have those digital wearables for our clones. It looks like Nike is going to take those digital wearables and have people be able to wear them in other venues. For example, maybe other games that are supported or different ways to support your team that we haven't seen yet. So I think, we're at the beginning of dotswoosh. We don't really know exactly how it's going to work yet. And so actually putting this video together is a little bit difficult because there's just a little bit of information about it out at the moment. So I'm going to try and just briefly go over everything that I was able to find out. The one thing I did want to cover is this does say that clones will get access for dotswoosh ID. However, we don't know A, how that's going to be provided, or B, when those IDs are going to be provided. So if you are a Artifact CloneX holder, unfortunately, we don't know yet exactly how we get a hold of those dotswoosh IDs. Hopefully we'll have more information about that soon. This was a Vogue Business article that went out on Monday, I think, with the announcement of dotswoosh. And it's a good source. It's voguebusiness.com, technology/Nike unveils .swoosh. So you could probably just Google .swoosh and Vogue Business if you wanted to read this in more detail. But basically, today Nike is announcing .swoosh, a new Web3 platform and ecosystem that lives at the domain swoosh.nike. So pretty much anything related to this .swoosh project, this platform, is going to end in .nike. So when you think about like making sure that you're going to the right site for things that are in this .swoosh project, make sure that you're definitely going to a site that ends with .nike. The project sits under Nike Virtual Studios, which is led by VP Ron Ferris, the former head of Nike's sneakers app. .swoosh will be the home of Nike's virtual creations, Ferris says, and it launches this Friday. So this Friday is actually the 18th. People can register starting today, and access begins through an access code. A first digital collection will drop in January. So right now, basically, they're registering people for .swoosh, and I think actually there's going to be a preview of a collection tomorrow, Friday, when this goes live. Ron Ferris and some other individuals from Nike were on, and from Artifact were actually on this Twitter Spaces that I have up on my screen right now. So I would suggest that if you really want the details about .swoosh, go to @Farokh, Farokh, and look at the Rug Radio spaces. And I'm so sorry. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. At any rate, so just definitely watch or not watch, but listen to that spaces if you want to hear in depth. One thing that I found really interesting that Ron said during the spaces is sort of the difference between .swoosh or Nike Virtual Studios, Nike Digital Studios, and Artifact itself. And that is that the whole .swoosh is meant to be like a Web3 platform, and it's meant to sort of onboard the masses, the crypto curious, the Web3 curious, I should say, into this digital and digital world, right? A lot of people are not super familiar with how NFTs work or digital wearables work. And this is going to help bring awareness to those people. And it sounds like there might be a more affordable entry point for some things. I don't know if that's the case yet. Obviously, we'll see as dotswoosh goes along and we have more information about what they're actually housing in terms of products. But it sounds like dotswoosh, when you hear Web3 curious in crypto, a lot of times crypto curious is used to talk to people that are not so familiar with crypto, but maybe interested in it. So they're saying that dotswoosh is for the Web3 curious. So it's sort of like a good step for people to get into. Hopefully they'll be able to make it safe and easy to use. And Artifact is more of a high-end luxury brand. We've seen that with some of the products that they've put out. The price point's a little bit higher, for example, with the Rimowa times Artifact collaboration. Some of the other products they've launched, it's an entry point that's not available to the masses, for example. And then they also are definitely, Artifact is focused on the ecosystem of, the metaverse that they're creating, the CloneX ecosystem. So sort of different spaces, but Nike, obviously, in acquiring Artifact, they acquired a whole lot of knowledge of this space of digital wearables and just sort of NFTs in general, I think. So it seems like a really good collaboration. I'm excited to see how they work together, and I'm super excited that we will have access to the wearables for our clones as clone holders. I'm just going to go through a couple different things that I thought were interesting. dotswoosh will begin as a hub for one to collect virtual products and will soon evolve into an entire community where one can buy, trade, and co-create amongst peers. We are shaping a marketplace of the future with an accessible platform for the Web3 curious. In this new space, the dotswoosh community and Nike can create, share, and benefit together. So one of the other things they did say in that spaces is that people will have the opportunity to actually create and potentially earn royalties on those creations, collections that they contribute to. And I don't know how that's going to look yet. It sounded like there would be contests, and the winners of those contests would be the ones that are able to do the creations and then potentially earn royalties. So I would say, if you are a creator, definitely hone those skills, learn Blender, learn Unity, learn whatever other design products that you can, and be ready for those challenges when they come up. Nike announces its biggest Web3 project yet, dotswoosh. Nike is continuing to extend its reach into the metaverse by introducing a new platform called dotswoosh. The community experience platform will offer Polygon-based NFT Nike products. So that is actually changed from Artifact, where most of the NFTs have been based on the Ethereum blockchain. I think my assumption is that one of the reasons for this is that it is less expensive to mint the NFTs on Polygon. Now, I'm not really going to get into the technical side of anything on this video, but that is the direction that they're going, and feel free to correct me if that's not the main reason for the change. NFT Nike products, and provide a home for the sportswear brand's virtual items, including footwear, clothing, and accessories. Significantly here, users will eventually be able to create and collaborate with Nike designers on virtual products with the ability to earn royalties from sales. So what we were just talking about, definitely be prepared to be a part of those design creation and collaborations. Again, it is going to be on Polygon, which is called Matic. And here is the dotswoosh blog, which is a great place to go to if you just want to see, hey, what's going on with dotswoosh, and read a little bit about the whole project. So a couple things from this particular entry on their blog, day 2, what just happened. So this was on Tuesday. They did mention to join them on the 18th, which we sort of already talked about. I think I have in my notes that that is going to be on noon Pacific, which is 3 p.m. Eastern or 4 p.m. AST. On November 18th, dotswoosh registration will open at welcome.swoosh.nike. Now, since we're in beta, we'll be bringing in members onto the platform in low numbers at first. You'll need an access code to create your dotswoosh account. If you don't get an access code, all good. Just add your name to our waiting list and we'll try to get you a code as soon as possible. So who gets emailed access codes? We are prioritizing several communities who we currently partner with across our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in the US. And we'll be serving those who engage with our platforms most across the US and select countries in Europe. We'll include more countries across Europe and the rest of the world once we open the platform up to more regions. We seek to make the platform as fair as possible, so if you haven't gotten your code yet, please be patient. So I don't know who has codes at the moment. If anyone does, it does sound like basically this whole thing is really going live tomorrow. Welcome.swoosh.nike. So show up there. I'm trying to see. So that noon time frame that I mentioned, that was mentioned on the Twitter Spaces, but I'm not 100% sure exactly what's happening at that time. I think they said something about previewing their first collection. And I think that's all I have to say about dotswoosh at the moment. It's really an exciting time for Nike and for Artifact and for anybody that holds a clone, right? So I can't wait to see what Nike does with this space. They are both jumping into it and they're also testing out the waters at the same time. So they have created a very large team to support dotswoosh. I think on the spaces, they said over 40 people were on the dotswoosh team. So there's definitely a lot of corporate power behind that and trying to make sure that it is a success. It's nice to see a brand like Nike try and come into this space and really figure out a way to make it work. So I think with putting, and these are just my opinions, putting dotswoosh on Polygon, trying to make it more affordable to the masses, and then making the whole experience more accessible. I think there's going to be, for example, I know Artifact right now, they're trying to work on an anti-theft system for clones. In NFT space, there is, unfortunately, a lot of scamming goes on where people do lose their NFTs if they're clicking on links that are not correct links. There's a lot of malicious links that are sent out there. So I'm excited to see what Artifact comes out with in terms of that anti-theft process. And I assume that something like that will be rolled into the whole dotswoosh ecosystem to try and make sure that people that are maybe a little bit less familiar with the whole Web3 space aren't taken advantage of in a way that they can't recover their assets on the platform. So the future looks bright. It's exciting. I know, I just want to finish and say, like, I know there's been a lot of negative stuff happening in this space the last, 2 weeks, but at the same time, there are people that are putting in work and learning and just every effort towards the best outcome and bright future, trying to include as many people as possible on just getting into this new adventure. So I'm really happy to be a part of it, and thank you again for listening to this. Make sure that you tune in to the, let's see what the website is again, I don't want to say it wrong, welcome.swoosh.nike on the 18th and see what they have to offer. And as a clone holder, we will just hang out and wait to see when we do get our codes to register on that website. It could be tomorrow, and it might not be until like later in December. I think that at some point it was said that clones would get their IDs, but it would be before the first collection drops, or before like the official collection drops, something like that. So whatever collections are dropping in January, it probably would be before then. Thank you again for watching. If you have any questions that I didn't answer in this video about dotswoosh, I'm happy to try and help you find the answer to that. There are some questions that I have asked that we don't really exactly have answers to. The questions were, do people that have other items besides clones or don't have a clone, like another artifact item, would they get access? There wasn't really a clear answer to that. When would we be getting the codes? We don't really know. If you're a CloneX holder, do you need to be registered for Nike.com as well as the dotswoosh website? And the answer was, it doesn't hurt to register for the Nike site, but it's probably not required for clone holders. And finally, I couldn't confirm if there was an exact time that you had to own a clone by in order to actually qualify for the codes, but that's just a list of the questions that I did try to ask in preparing this information. And I hope it was helpful. Thank you again for watching. And please, again, take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel and comment below. Let us know what else we can cover for you. Have a great night.